But there are some people who think that this case can be presented in a way that will not be so yawn, been there, done that. That there really is a picture that will be drawn that will touch upon people. And I've given a little thought to how that should be represented. And I think that the through line in this case is that it can be used to show Donald Trump as a cheater. That is who he is. I don't think that that's a pretty picture. The legalities of the case, if I understand them, and like a lot of people, I have to confess, I don't have a law degree. But tomorrow I turn 78 years old, and I've been, since I was 18, I've really taken the understanding the law and the Constitution with some seriousness. That's a long time. But apparently, the falsification of Trump's business records goes from being a minor crime to a much more major crime if it is done in furtherance of the commission of a different crime. And that different crime has got something to do. I mean, I don't know. I think that Alvin Bragg, the DA, hasn't fully shown exactly how he's going to present that connection, exactly with what laws, state laws and federal election laws, issues. I'm not competent, and he hasn't said yet anyway, I guess. If it's in furtherance of other crimes, then the combination makes something that's serious. And that other crime is, I think, basically about, it is a crime to go through the things that Trump did in order to keep from the American people information that they're entitled to have before they vote. I don't understand. What is it? A matter of you're not allowed to pay hush money to keep it from them? Is it a matter of you're not allowed to falsify what you're doing with that money in your New York business records violations in order to do that? There's some kind of legal picture that I'm not fully, but those two go together. And that's enough, I think, to enable us to look at the picture of what this trial can be presented for political purposes as showing. Now, for legal purposes, the judge will instruct the jury that if you find that he ... and if you found that he did this in furtherance of violation of this or that New York or federal law ... then you must find ... Okay, that's in the court of law, but I'm very concerned about. I've always been concerned about holding Trump accountable because it is important. Well, isn't it obvious? It is important how the American people perceive Donald Trump, who apparently, I don't think it's the way the polls suggest it is, but I don't want to bet our democracy that I'm right about this. This guy apparently has a possibility of being elected president again. And that would be a catastrophe. I don't know if it would be as big a catastrophe as the Civil War. Maybe. I mean, maybe. But the political aspect of it is important. So I regret that that these trials are not televised. I mean, it seems to me that we've got a huge public interest in seeing these realities. I mean, we're people are going to be making choices. What is it? This is the fourth month. Is this 6.5 months from now? Uh, the American people are going to be making a huge choice that has a lot to do with how to perceive this particular person who's been indicted on all these counts and being tried in this case. So why aren't we? I don't know. Maybe would you have to pass a new law? It is possible to get exceptions, I gather. But anyway, we aren't getting to see it. So this stuff has got to be presented to the American people to have the optimal political impact, which is to say, uh, it's all about the truth as far as I'm concerned. Our interest is that the truth come out and that the American people understand the truth as fully as possible and that they make the decision when they go into the ballot box based on as much understanding as possible about what the nature of the choice is. Yeah. So I think that the through line again is that he's a cheater. Maybe we wrap into that the fact that when he's going off with this porn star, his wife just had this baby of his, and he's cheating on her. Well, that tells you something. And they're going to be able to present a transcript of the Access Hollywood tape. It seems like foolishness to me if you're going to admit the transcript. Draw the line between that, but you can't show the video. I would. Somebody said, "Well, the judge is trying to create a record which shows he doesn't always find for the prosecution." But anyway, you get the real. Anybody who would brag about grabbing women that way, even if it's a lie, if you think that's something to brag about, Jesus, what a creep! I don't know anybody who would brag about a thing like that. I've been in a lot of locker rooms up through high school. Nobody talked like that. So you hear the person, you don't just hear, yeah, they let you do it because you're a star. You know, the transcript doesn't convey what a schmuck this guy is. But anyway, he cheated on Melania. All right. He wouldn't be the first president to cheat. And then you can bring in Karen McDougal, you know. He's a serial cheater. And stuff from Howard Stern, you know. But we knew it's part of his image. And I think a lot of young men kind of like it. But he's a cheater that way. Presumably he took some kind of oath, marriage vows. To hell with that. He's Donald Trump. He knows nothing. He doesn't have to obey anything. Doesn't have to keep any oath. So then he cheats in the election according to some law that I don't fully understand what you're not allowed to do. I mean, if you're running for president, you got something you don't want the public to know, what can you and what can't you do to prevent the public from knowing it? I mean, FDR didn't want the public to know he was in a wheelchair. Anyway, I don't know exactly what you are and aren't allowed to do, but I do think that I know from having heard smart people talk about these things, you're not allowed to do what he did. You get together with the National Enquirer from before any of this surfaced and make an agreement that you're gonna catch and kill any kind of anything that could hurt Donald Trump. Is that against the law? I think so, because I think David Pecker, you know, like Dickens named some of his characters. You think, you know, no, it wouldn't really happen in the real world that that kind of guy would be called that. But this guy, David Pecker of the National Enquirer, and Michael Cohen and Donald Trump got together to try to make sure that no information that would be injurious to Trump's electoral process in the 2016 election would see the light of day. I'm suspecting that you're not allowed to do that, but so that would mean that at least something that he did there to keep information from the American people was cheating. We have election laws. We agree to abide by those laws. But if you're Donald Trump, you cheat. He also cheated. Don't get me into my disappointments, Robert Mueller. But he did collude with the Russians. Robert Mueller might not have thought that he didn't have the slam dunk he would have needed to be able to prove it in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, I don't think there's any room for a rational person who has to sort of form an image of what really happened should have any doubt. He cheated. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to get help from a foreign power. It is against the law. It was against the law for him to do what he did in Ukraine. Again, trying to get a foreign power to do something which is fundamentally dishonest, just to pretend that there's an investigation. It didn't have to be an investigation, but just to besmirch the end Biden, whom he anticipated he'd be running against. Cheating, cheating, cheating. And what he did in the wake of losing to Joe Biden in 2020, that was an insurrection. That was the most serious cheating, and putting out slates of fake electors and trying to get the vice president to, cheater, cheater, cheater. I don't know how many people really have a distaste for cheaters. As a kid, I spent a lot of time playing sandlot ball or pickup basketball or improvised touch or tackle football, and I really didn't like cheaters. If somebody's clearly out at second base, I mean, there's just no need for a replay. Not that there was such a thing, but the other team, somebody, the leader of the other team, just insisted he was safe. I don't want to play with that guy. I think that there at least was an ethic in America that we don't like cheaters. So that if that kind of feeling is widespread, then I think that this cheater thing can be used. All right, that's it for that.